Mm. There you go. Open. Good. All right. Better be, sir. So what do you say?
Yeah, thank you, sir. May I have another one?
Good girl. You have to know who you are and be who you are. What does that do to you?
It turns me on.
Everything's about consent, so you have to communicate. What number is that?
Right, that is a 3.
3? Okay. Girl. Your fetish isn't my fetish. You can love what you love, and I love what I love.
I was married when I was really young. I was really trying to be like a good Christian girl. I was trying to, submit to my husband. I just thought that it was the right thing to do because I felt that's what the Bible and what the church was telling me to do.
When I came out as gay, it was Mother's Day, and my grandpa, he started making a lot of comments about the gay community, and I couldn't handle it. And I stood up and was like, fuck you! And he's like, fuck you! And I go upstairs and I'm like sobbing, and my mom's like, what's wrong? And I told her I'm gay, and she starts like sobbing, and I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, I just don't want you to be persecuted for who you are! And I'm just like, oh my God, Mom, this is so, you're great.
My last tour in Afghanistan was a rough one. Came close a couple of times to losing my life. A friend of mine that drove the same routes as we did died 2 weeks after I left country. It was our route. It was a route we drove all the time. If I had been there 2 more weeks longer than I was, I would have been in a vehicle with him. And when I came back from Afghanistan, I thought, why am I just not me? Why are we ashamed of ourselves? Why do we feel we can't be ourselves? I'm going to be me now, and I'm just going to enjoy my life because I know it can end tomorrow.
The parallels that you see between, I think, homosexuality and kink coming out is that I think it's inevitable. I think it's inevitable that people are going to learn. Every Saturday or every other Saturday, I go somewhere, and my roommates ask where I'm going. I'm like, I'm not going to tell them where I'm going. The first time someone put the bit on me and then sat me down and bound me up and started brushing me, I was like, you're a good horse. I'm just like, whoa, like I was like beat red, and I was just like absolutely just, I was just mind blown. It's kind of like a final puzzle piece like slipped into place. It's been something I've wanted to express my entire life, and I haven't been able to. And the moment I was able to, everything else just kind of came together. Like I became whole, I feel.
I spent a lot of time figuring that out, how, being into BDSM and being Christian was compatible. And mostly that came down to the fact that I'm not having sex with everybody I play with. And that submission is a word that I learned from the Bible before I came into the lifestyle. I just got out of a master-slave relationship, and my days started with coffee and blowjobs and ended with snacks and crazy sex. There's a lot of chores. I spent a lot of time just, cleaning and working around the house. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with being submissive, and I don't think that detracts from your value as who you are as a person.
There's a freedom in bondage. You are free when you are tied up and at someone's mercy, because I have no other options but to, whenever they tug my rein in one direction, I have to go. If they want me to say yes or no, I have to stamp my foot. You are incapable of doing anything, so why worry about anything? It's just like, you know what? People are gonna pet me and feed me apples, and I'm gonna run around a bit, and that's it. That is my life right now. Nothing else matters, because even if it did matter, I wouldn't be able to do anything about it anyway.
When does hurting become harming? Because we want to say we do no harm. It might hurt you, but that's because you want to be. Everything's about consent. If you're not communicating, you don't understand it.
I go to church sometimes, but it's certainly evolved into, I just do whatever the fuck I want. The church as a whole likes to shame our sexuality, and I think that's brought about by men using sex to shame women for centuries upon centuries. And I do think that women have more of an opportunity to accept who they are as sexual beings here.
What's cool about fetish is how it transcends sex. It's more of a mind thing than it is sexual because it's so much a part of me, I feel. This is something we've all known. This is something we've all discovered about ourselves deep inside that we enjoyed. And we have a very great place to express those and feel good about ourselves. And that's just way too precious, I think, for sex. Coming out, I think, is just, it's not just gay. I think it's just a general attitude towards things. It's like you have to tell people about this thing about yourself that a lot of people might not sympathize with, but you have to tell them, because if you don't, then you have to keep lying and living in this shell, and it sucks. It feels like in a lot of ways I'm coming out again. I do feel like I'm in that area right now where I'm kind of like, there's some people who might have to know. And I need to be ready to tell them, and it's going to be weird, and it's going to not be fun, and I don't know how they're going to react.
I'm sorry. That's my mother. I'm going to tell her I'm at work real quick.
Even though I'm a very service-oriented person, I'm a very dominant person, and I want to be my own boss. And so that's really what I didn't like about that relationship, was the fact that I wasn't my own boss anymore. I want to take, everything that he did for me and kind of replicate that on my own side. There'll be room for some sort of submissive in my life one of these days. I'm waiting for the right person to show up.
Everyone's different, so you have to find what fits you. And once you find it, enjoy it. That's the lifestyle I choose to live. I'd rather just be open and honest and say, I want to tell you to do something. Do you enjoy the reciprocal side of those things? If you do, excellent.